the end state here is we want to reach a phase of transition where we are left with a friendly, stable, prosperous Venezuela, and democratic, in which all elements of society are represented in free and fair elections. By the way, you can have elections. You can have elections all day. But if the opposition has no access to the media, if opposition candidates are routinely dismissed and unable to be on the ballot because the government, those aren't free and fair elections. That's the end state that we want. Free, fair, prosperous, and friendly Venezuela. We're not going to get there in 3 weeks. It's going to take some time. And so objective number one was stability. In the aftermath of the removal of Maduro, the concern was what happens in Venezuela? Is there civil war? Do the different factions start going at each other? Are 1 million people crossing the border into Colombia? All of that has been avoided. And one of the primary ways that it has been avoided is the ability to establish direct, honest, respectful, but very direct and honest conversations with the people who today control the elements of that nation, meaning the law enforcement, the government apparatus, et cetera. And one of the tools that's available to us is the fact that we have sanctions on oil. There is oil that is sanctioned that cannot move from Venezuela because of our quarantine. And so what we did is we entered into an arrangement with them. And the arrangement is this: on the oil that is sanctioned in quarantine, we will allow you to move it to market. We will allow you to move it to market at market prices, not at the discount China was getting. In return, the funds from that will be deposited into an account that we will have oversight over. And you will spend that money for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. Why was that important? Venezuela was running out of storage capacity. Okay, they were producing oil, they were drilling oil, they had nowhere to put it. They had nowhere to move it, and they were facing a fiscal crunch. They needed money in the immediacy to fund the police officer, the sanitation workers, the daily operations of government. And so we've been able to create a short-term mechanism. This is not going to be the permanent mechanism, but this is a short-term mechanism in which the needs of the Venezuelan people can be met through a process that we've created where they will submit every month a budget of this is what we need funded. We will provide for them at the front end what that money cannot be used for. And they've been very cooperative in this regard. In fact, they have pledged to use a substantial amount of those funds to purchase medicine and equipment directly from the United States. As in fact, one of the things they need is diluent, depending how you want to pronounce it. And that basically is the light crude that you need to mix with their heavy crude in order for the oil to be able to be mixed and moved. They used to get 100% of that from Russia. They are now getting 100% of that from the United States.
Yep.
So we're using that short.
Oh yeah, bro, Monty, we're now the #1 producer of oil in the world.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm listening and I'm looking for the controversial thing that he said. What did he say that was so controversial?
Pretty much
all of those things are good. All of those things are good for Venezuela, good for the United States, America first, and
Bro, and you know what? Actually, it's a perfect time to play this video right here because, dog, we're really about to flip the whole financial market on his head. And also, yes, we now have like the #1 oil reserves in the world because we're taking their oil and putting it in our oil reserves. It's like overnight, bro. This whole happened like,
you know what this reminds me of?
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? So I when I was in foster care, my the sister of my foster mother ran a company called it was for benefit management of people that were on welfare but were like drug addicts or had problems or whatever. So they needed somebody to watch over their finances so that they didn't put themselves in a hole. And that's what the US looks like it's doing right now. The fucking Venezuelan people have been starving at the hand of Maduro. They took Maduro out. And now they're like, we're going to give you 100% of everything that's owed to you. We're not going to take your oil at a, I guess if oil is $80 a barrel and they're getting it for 60, that's a 25% discount. We're not going to take it at a 25% discount. We're going to take it at what the market price is. And so they're going to get money for their oil. They're going to buy things from us that they need to make their oil more valuable. We're going to buy that.
And they're going to sell it to us.
They're going to sell it to us, and we're going to give them the money in a essentially a trust account that says you can spend the money on these things that we have determined will benefit your people because you can't determine how to govern your own country, as evidenced by Chavez and Maduro.
Okay, we can't trust you not to send that money to Russia and China.
Exactly. And so here's the money you can spend here's the money that you can spend things on, and you know, it better be going to the good of your people, not to your own corruption. What is wrong with that?
Well, Joel, check this out, my man. Oh, and shout out to my man Anthony. He done give 2 memberships. I think it was one to let me see here. I think it was Nurse Irving who got a membership, which I thought she already had one. And then of course the other one was trying to find out Anthony Thomas. So shout out to you guys. I mean, wow, and Anthony giving an Andy a membership. You gotta love it. But all right, guys, let's get right
I
back.
thought Nurse Irving was a mod.
She's a mod, but she's a member now.
We just saw over the past 48 hours, in just 1 week after President Trump came back from that globalist enclave of Davos, we are watching a new world order unfolding right before our eyes. And I'm not being hyperbolic about it, because this past Friday, we witnessed the start of the Great Reset. 3 million Epstein files dumped on us, which are disgusting and disturbing to say the least. We also on Friday saw the biggest one-day drop in the precious metals market in history. And right now, as I'm recording this on this Sunday morning, we are watching something huge happening, a massive arbitrage happening between the Chinese precious metals markets, London precious metals markets, US precious metals markets. Right now, gold is the indicator that a full-blown reset is upon us. Look over here at the US ready to bomb Iran. Look over here at these new Epstein files. But if you look over here, there's something massive happening that's resetting everything right now. So I want to connect the dots for you today with 4 key.
Oh, shout out to for also gifting a membership. Appreciate the support, sis. And that leaves us at 48. Yeah.
Pause. Someone said the stolen oil is the money from the stolen oil is in an account that Trump manages. First of all, the oil is not stolen. It was bought by the only people that they're legally allowed to sell it to, because there's sanctions on them, as drafted by the UN and us, that we are executing. It's not stealing oil when you buy it for market price.
Yeah,
We're just not allowing you to sell it to China.
Well, I know if he's talking about the oil that we seized, then sure. But I mean, now, we're doing them better than China and Russia. We're buying at market price instead of them selling it below market price.
Flag.
And then here's the thing, when they sell it below market price, this is why their whole economy falling apart. Yeah, yep. Because the people, since they're selling it so low, only so many people can get paid off that sale, and it all goes to the top, while the people at the bottom are kind of just kick rocks.
Yeah, they're slaves in the oil market. They're the grunts that are not getting paid but $1 a month. What are you? Good God! The common sense that you must ignore to come to that conclusion is baffling. You, sir, deserve a medal.
Key parts of this story as I see them. Okay, 4 key parts. But first, some context here, because on Friday, President Trump nominated Kevin Warsh as the new Fed chairman. And yes, there's a lot of baggage that comes with this guy. Heck, the guy's in the freaking Epstein files. Couldn't have picked another guy? Anyway, I'm going to do a deep dive on him soon, but not in today's video. But just so you understand, he hates stimulus money, this Kevin Warsh. He hates stimulus. He hates quantitative easing. He voted against it. He thinks correctly that it pushes inflation higher. Could have used him during the Biden years.
Yeah.
He also changed his mind on interest rates. He used to believe that higher interest rates were good for the U.S. dollar, not any longer. He also believes the Fed shouldn't hold this much debt on its balance sheets. He wants the Fed to slash its balance sheets, which will also lead to lower interest rates. So this is a huge move.
Yeah.
What? There's people out there that actually think a quantitative easing, which is just printing more money and increasing the supply of money, is good for the economy?
Yeah, bro. Oh, yes, bro. I remember that was I remember when I was in economics course, they was teaching me that was something good. I was do the quantitative easing, we can do this and that. I'm just wait, what? Printing more money. You just got done teaching me how printing more money increases inflation in the supply of money. What are you saying?
So you're only supposed to do the only time a quantitative easing is supposed to be done is when your population outgrows the supply of money, and then you have hyperinflation or hyperdeflation. You do quantitative easing so you don't have hyperdeflation. You don't put yourself in a depression because people literally don't have the money. You
You
don't do a
don't.
quantitative easing because you owe people money and you want to dilute the value. That's what China does. That's why China's money is worthless.
Yeah. But I mean, bro, trust me, dog. If you ever took an economics class, it's gonna confuse you because it's kind of like, hold on, they'll tell you one thing and then tell you another thing at the same damn time. That's why I never got the whole quantitative easing. I'm like, in a certain situation, yeah, that would work. But how they try to reference it for how it could be used in today's time, I was like, no.
No, our population is not growing at such a rate
Yeah, we
that
haven't had a
money.
baby boom in decades.
Yeah, and we did quantitative easings when we got off the gold standard. That's essentially what getting off the gold standard is doing a quantitative easing that displaces gold as the driver behind the asset. You put more money in than you have gold to back it, and that's what a quantitative easing is. So what?
Yeah, I know,
And
bro. Look, bro, Democrats. Democrats and Republicans, actually, there was very few of them, but I remember Democrats, that was their main thing. Joe Biden was talking about it. Obama used it a little bit.
Obama did it 3 times, I think, and that's
Yeah.
what.
That's why a lot of people see it as a success story, because Obama used it and did help out at that time, though. And that special
Obama
time.
did it when after we had a financial collapse. One quantitative easing was all that needed to be done to spur up the economy, because literally people had no value, and the only way to give value back to the people was to dilute the value of the people that stole the money.
Yeah, well,
Like,
here's the problem with that one. It's
what?
like everybody thought that was the end all be all. Like, oh, well, we'll just use it anytime we need money. We need to get the economy back on track.
No, that
Yep.
literally goes against the saying money doesn't grow on trees. No, it just comes out of the Fed at a rapid rate.
Bro, they was trying to jam the triangle block in the circle hole. Okay, bro.
Bro.
That's literally what they were doing. I was like, trust me, when I read about this in economics, I was like, bro, what the fuck were we doing back then? Like, are you serious? Like, bro,
I
like,
didn't get
wait,
to vote
really?
for this shit.
It's like, bro, I was a kid when this happened, bro. If I was a grown ass adult, I'd have been upset with you guys.
I mean, that is, people bitch and like, oh, my parents bought a house for a nickel and a ham sandwich, and I can't get one without half my arm and half my leg. That's why, you dipshit.
And you want to vote for more of it. But all right, let's get back to this guy. Oh, and shout out Toe. She says trying to get the call in. He's like trying to get that call in open. Almost. Yeah. Also, yeah, China is worthless. Period. Well, their dollar's worthless. I'll tell you that.
Their currency, the yen, is worthless,
Bro,
and
like
that's
it's
because
built
they
on
do.
debt.
We hear this number like, oh, China owns a lot of people's debt. Here's the thing: the reason they own everybody's debt is because their own currency is worthless. It's like, we'll give you, like, what? Oh my God. So you have an economy built off of debt, and literally, I think the Senate had to pass a bill that said that the President Obama was not allowed to mint a $1 trillion coin, because he started talking about that and saying, oh yeah, we'll just mint the money that we owe to everybody and get ourselves out of debt. And they're like, that will crash the fucking economy.
Bruh.
You can't do that. And they passed the law saying you couldn't do it. Because even dumbass senators understand that quantitative easing or producing more money will devalue the money you have.
Yep. And it's crazy. Any economist that said different, bro, they just shamed them. I mean, that's all you got to do. But all right, back to this guy.
What the fuck?
And this move, though, means that we are effectively in a new dollar era right now. The globalists are terrified of us owning any kind of precious metals, dumping US dollars. So everything is changing right now before our eyes. So along with this new dollar era, we are in a new petrodollar era. And this is important because if you're paying attention to the last cabinet meeting, the United States is now the largest producer of oil and natural gas in the world.
All of a sudden, we are now the largest producers. Like,
which is a good thing. A good thing for the American dollar.
We did it, guys.
Because here's how that works, right? Let me explain to you what being the largest producer of oil and natural gas, the thing that runs the fucking world, despite what the climate experts want to say. When you're the largest producer, you are no longer reliant on other people. So when you're no longer reliant on other people except to just literally do trades across the board, now you take America out of that pot. Because the world is at the mercy of America when it comes to oil now, being the largest producer. So you take a total pie of the amount of oil that's produced. This is a pie situation. Economics is not a pie situation. Oil is, because it's a scarce commodity. When you take that piece of pie out and you fill it back in with you redo the pie chart, now you have to go off of what everybody else has. When you go off of what everybody else has, the supply and demand curve for them makes their oil more expensive, like what they're willing to pay for it. And mind you, we're immune to that because we're the ones producing it. So you destabilize. That's why Saudi Arabia is so fucking rich, because they were the biggest producer for a while. We are now going to experience the same things Saudi Arabia experienced, because everybody's beholden to us, or at least in some part of the process. And we are immune from that.
Yeah, you're right. And oh yeah, and shout out to my man Jet. He says, yeah, they steal, and apparently military tech is worthless too. I mean, bro, they water down, they steal. They water down, they steal, and sell it around the world for cheap. And then their military tech, I mean, bro, like if you bought their jets, you're sending it back. I mean, bro. The Chinese radar that Venezuela used, how did that help them? Not too much.
Stop, Set. That's wrong. It was Russian radar.
Okay,
but I guess it came from China. Yeah, I mean, it's
not
Chinese,
bro. If Russia's using Chinese radar, they might be cooked. But apparently these guys had what? They had Russian missile defense systems. They had Chinese radars, Chinese missile defense systems that ended up backfiring. So,
well, because they can't sustain it, for one, and they don't know how to use it, for two. And it doesn't. It's not just it's not like a video game where you just fucking pop a UAV out and you can see everybody. There's ways to defeat radar. We know how to defeat the radar.
Bro, you hear about that crazy shit that's going down in China?
What's not going down? What's going on? People jumping out of Foxconn again?
Oh, Lord. All right, bro, check this out.
Something big is about to happen in China. President Trump and NATO have openly confirmed that a civil conflict is brewing inside the Chinese Communist Party's own military. According to internal CIA intelligence, Zhang Yuxia, one of China's most powerful generals and second only to Xi Jinping himself, has been detained over allegations that he leaked China's nuclear weapons intelligence to the United States. But that is not all. Zhang is also accused of plotting to overthrow Xi Jinping and the Communist Party in order to seize power for himself. The twist is this: the generals under Zhang's command are openly defying Xi's decision. They have made their position clear. If Xi does not release Zhang Yuxia, they are prepared to break away from China entirely and fight to the very end. Meanwhile, the United States has confirmed imminent changes to its military deployment across the Indo-Pacific. The truth is, Washington sees an opportunity, and it intends to exploit the chaos. In fact, this could be a once-in-a-century moment for the United States, a historic chance to finally cripple its greatest rival while the system fractures from within. Right now, the Chinese Communist Party is in complete chaos, and at this point, anything can happen.
But wait, Monty.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Monty. There's more, because yes, you were right, but trust me, it gets even more complicated with this.
So it is very clear at this point, if there is going to be a third world war, China is going to be responsible for it, because Jing Yuxia, who's their main general, was just arrested where he's being called a traitor against China and selling nuclear secrets from China to the United States. But it's all a lie, and this is how he's actually being screwed over, because China wants to take over Taiwan. First off, just a little background. China's main general is actually longtime friends with Xi, who is the president of China and also considered their dictator, where they actually knew each other in childhood, and because of that, the general has the ability to talk to the president in ways that other people are too afraid to. This general is he's actually one of the more anti-war people in China, because he served in the Chinese-Vietnam War that happened in 1979, which only went for about 3-4 months, but there were 50,000 Chinese soldiers lost, and he actually has held this depression for decades in his life because he said there were so many bodies he couldn't recover for a war that he thought was preventable. But now the story that the Chinese government is trying to tell people is this man right here is a traitor, where after over 50 years of serving his country in the military, he actually was selling nuclear secrets to the American government for about $1 million, and because of that, he's being arrested and he might actually be killed. though that's the story China's trying to tell, there are the anti-communists within China showing this guy's story because they have had communication with him, and he said he never betrayed the United States, but instead the issue is he just disagrees with China's leadership because he doesn't want to ever invade Taiwan. Basically what's going on with Xi, China's president, he is getting older and he doesn't have a clear successor, but also at the same time, he doesn't feel like he has a legacy at this point where he's never actually won a great war. So at the end of the day, his legacy will be known for bringing malls to China and other things like that, but he thinks he needs this war to make himself seem like this great leader, and uniting Taiwan and China as one is how he wants to do it. It was reported through leaks that when he met with Joe Biden while he was president of the United States, he actually told him that they did plan on taking over Taiwan eventually, and he thought it would be this very quick process that could last a week. Sounds kind of familiar because the last time a world leader said that, it was Vladimir Putin, where he had the goal of conquering Ukraine, and he told the people of Russia that it was going to be a 72-hour mission and they'd have Ukraine, and now it's gone on for 3 years. The country's gone broke doing it, and they've lost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of soldiers in the process. And that's exactly what this general told Xi would happen if China tries to conquer Taiwan, where it's not going to be this week-long war. There'd be this massive issue going on where the United States and Europe would take Taiwan's side, and then because of that, they'd lose hundreds of thousands of soldiers' lives, and they actually could go bankrupt in the process trying to fund a war they can't win. Basically, the general who's known Xi since childhood, he went to him and said, hey, this is what's going on right now. You have a bunch of yes men who are going to follow you because they think it'll advance you, but then other people within your own party are saying, okay, we'll let him invade Taiwan, but if it doesn't work, we're going to kill him and remove him from office. So this general was actually trying to take Xi's side, saying, hey, you need to not do this. The only thing that might have been treasonous that the general did was he did meet with the United States and did discuss the possibility of a Taiwanese-Chinese war, and basically the U.S. generals told him, this is what we're going to do, we're going to target these territories, and it could be hundreds of thousands of lives lost if it happened. So China's story that this guy's a traitor makes no sense at all because he's already wealthy from his work in the military and he's been so loyal for decades, it would make no sense that he would do this. And with that, I'm Charles Pearl, Red, Blue, and you subscribe to learn something.
What did I fucking tell you? What did I tell you?
Bro, I know you're right, and it even comes with a childhood betrayal story. It's like, wow.
Oh, man.
Like, bro, we were all calling this. We were all calling the downfall of China for a while now.
Woo! It's almost like if you cut them off and choke them out, their military's not strong enough to fight back. They will collapse from the inside. Man, what did I tell you? Can we do Russia next?
Man, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Apparently, Russia got a little bit more going on in China, but we'll see.
Yeah, because China. Let's not forget, China cannot produce oil. All the oil that comes into China comes from somewhere else.
Yeah, Iran or Russia and other places.
Iran or Russia by way of Venezuela.
Yep, you're right. But all right, though, let's get right back into it.
And this is important because if you're paying attention to the last cabinet meeting, the United States is now the largest producer of oil and natural gas in the world. This means the new petrodollar structure isn't sitting in Saudi Arabia anymore. It's now in the United States. And the trifecta here that just happened is a new plan for the US dollar at the Fed, the precious metals market dropping like a bomb thanks to speculators dumping their holdings and everyone taking profits, and then the U.S. control over the petrodollar, energy policy. So all of this just happened basically on Friday. The petrodollar system was controlled by OPEC, were the source of endless Middle Eastern wars. This has now changed, meaning no one can shake Washington down on energy anymore. We produce more than you do. That makes every American 1,000 times safer as long as we don't continue to do Israel's bidding and bomb Middle East countries. We'll see what Trump does there. And if you really want to make America safe, stop listening to that demon Netanyahu and actually bring our troops home out of the Middle East, 50,000 of them back to the U.S. We've got our own problems here at home to deal with. But the neocon Fox News crowd would love nothing more than for Trump to kiss Netanyahu's ass and do whatever he wants.
Okay, let's bring in former Secretary of State and CIA Director Mike Pompeo, a Fox News contributor.
But one thing at a time. And just so you understand what happened on Friday, with everyone selling off silver and gold, I mean, a few weeks ago, the U.S. stole Venezuela's oil. It's ours now. China was pissed. They are one of Venezuela's largest oil partners, settling these transactions in the Chinese yuan instead of U.S. dollars. While America swoops in,
partner is a very loose term when you're buying it at a 20% discount or $20 a barrel discount.
But shout out to Toe. She says, off topic, but I have a camp granddad and stuck in my head. Letting China take Taiwan would be very bad for China. Well, yeah, honestly, it sounds like if these guys would try to get into it with Taiwan, it's like, let's be real, they're not us. So they're not just gonna go in there and sweep Taiwan. No, they're gonna get drugged out. It's gonna be like their Vietnam, and it's not gonna look good. And she will most likely be thrown out of power, most likely publicly executed. I don't know why, but that's what they like to do to dictators.
Pause.
Great.
Here's the thing, though. If Xi can learn from the United States and learn the lesson that's being taught to him right now, I don't think he realizes the lesson that's being taught to him. Just go steal their president.
I think that's the problem. I think we realize that China just don't got that military might like that to just go out there and start snatching presidents like we can.
But look at how they're preparing. Seriously, look from a military standpoint how they're preparing for war, because we know that they are. They are building the quote unquote largest navy for the Great China. But all of their hold on. Mm-hmm. All of their naval assets are designed to support an army. It's not designed to conduct, softening of the target. It's designed to get people to the mainland of Taiwan so that they can invade it. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. They're preparing for the last war because they have no experience in war, and you need to prepare for the next war. They can't prepare for the next war. So it's anything. I honestly believe it'd be worse than Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, I do too.
It's going to be a Chinese bloodbath.
It'd be way worse because at least Russia got some experience. These guys, no. It's like they might want to stick to playing the economic games, but I don't even think they can play those games anymore.
But because we're taking that card away from them. I'm telling, bro.
we eating their cake.
It feels so good to be vindicated.
But now, if you want an accurate description of what Trump did,
stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. And I stole it. Like, bro, but niggas don't understand. I talk facts. Vlad, I talk facts.
Oh, you're right.
I
don't even deny it. That's cool.
Nigga, I talk facts. What deny? What, nigga? Give me that, nigga. You don't know what to do with that.
Okay.
You know when a nigga got a girl, her shit fat? Bro, you don't know what to do with that. Give me that.
When a leader when a leader got a country and they just let it get ran over by like Russia, but man, you don't know what to do with that, bro. Give me that. That's what we doing out here.
Because it's in our best interest. We do not need Russia and China operating in Venezuela. We just stopped that. Effectively stopped it.
Man.
By taking out one guy and sending a message that we can do it at any time. We've already rehearsed it, 2 years in advance, i.e. cue that video from Fort Bragg that I sent you. We've already done it in real life. We've done it in real life, and none of your shit worked to stop us. In fact, you were puking on yourself and couldn't walk straight for a couple days after. Bro.
Yeah, it's tough. But all right, though, let's get back to this guy.
Venezuela's largest oil. But one thing at a time. And just so you understand what happened on Friday, with everyone selling off silver and gold, I mean, a few weeks ago, the U.S. stole Venezuela's oil. It's ours now. China was pissed. They are one of Venezuela's largest oil partners, settling these transactions in the Chinese yuan instead of U.S. dollars. Well, America swoops in, kidnaps Maduro, steals their oil, kills hundreds of people, by the way, which didn't get any headlines. China then responds, limiting silver export controls. Countries and banks panic. People buy up precious metals like crazy because now the United States and China relationship is heading for disaster. But then things suddenly turned around. The U.S. and China calmed down. Things started to get back to normal. Trump and Xi Jinping are going to actually spend the autumn together, maybe holding hands and walking amongst the leaves. I don't know.
Right.
Like they like each other again. So then Friday, it all comes to a head, right? Oh, things are calming down between the U.S. and China. All these leveraged bets and Wall Street speculators who overbought on the China tension They bought tons of silver and gold. They suddenly decide to take profits, dumping it.
Yep.
The markets
Pump
tumble.
and dump.
But normal people like me just doubled down and bought more silver and gold on Friday. Hey, buy the dip when these idiots play this speculation game. I don't want to have anything to do with those morons. Which brings me to the 4 main points that I wanted to make that a lot of people are missing in this whole story. Number 1, Trump wants a weaker U.S. dollar. And that's why I'm buying as much silver and gold as I can get my hands on.
Well, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar. But a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money.
What people don't understand is that Trump doesn't want to push up higher inflation or debase the currency. That's a conspiracy theory. He wants a weaker currency because the U.S. now controls the world's energy markets.
Yep.
He's trying to turn the U.S. into a manufacturing hub and massive exports to other countries instead of us importing everything from China and Vietnam.
Which is good. Which is good for American consumers, by the way.
Of course, all
that
of this might blow up in his face.
Consumers.
I don't know. Might be the dumbest move ever, right? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what he's doing. But certainly the Clinton, Bush, Obama era of shutting down all of our manufacturing destroyed our country. So what choice did we have? Does he have? In order to compete with China and India, he believes we need a weaker U.S. dollar, a weaker currency, just like the Chinese yuan is weaker. And India's rupee, which is basically in the toilet as we speak. It just hit an all-time low. It's one of the worst performing currencies in Asia. So he believes we need a weaker U.S. dollar to create a manufacturing boom in the United States to compete with China, India.
Yep.
So this is a new era that we are entering in. This isn't some small policy tweak. It's an intentional move that could last a decade or more. Again, it could be a disaster, total disaster. We won't know for sure for a while, that's for sure. But certainly we're sitting in a disaster right now thanks to Obama, Biden, and Clinton. Now, the second point that we need to make is this is the end of the Fed's independence. So since 2008, the Fed has essentially become more independent. I know they're not technically independent. They still have to answer to Congress, but give me a break. So they dropped interest rates to nearly zero back then, created a housing crisis. No one did anything to stop them. No one stepped in and said, don't do.
I mean, and that's the truth. Shout out to my man. He said, DD Gaming. He says, good news for my manufacturing company. I mean, facts.
This was
the plan.
All of this is good for one thing. Okay. Regulations from Democrats have increased minimum wages, which has increased taxes, which has increased government spending, which has increased inflation, which has made things unaffordable. If you actually correct real wages, right, and the real value of the dollar and deflate the value of it, then what do you get? Your $20 an hour is now worth $15. Your $20 an hour is now worth $12 an hour, which is what you're actually worth, the value that you're actually worth. You have had hyperinflation or not hyperinflation because we haven't risen to that, but we've had 300% and 400% inflation. Devalue the dollar, not by quantitative easing, not by increasing the supply of the dollar, but by giving opportunities for manufacturing to come in at one price and make money on that. Your 401k is going to go up. Everything's going to go up. Wealth is going to remain the same, but production is going to get cheaper, which is fucking great. Production needs to be cheaper so that you don't have what you look at as a $3,500 iPhone right now. The iPhone might actually be $3,500, but it's going to feel like it's $1,000. Why? Because you've made manufacturing cheaper and weakened the value of the dollar so that you can later on go and make the value of the dollar stronger.
No, you said that right.
Yeah. And
right.
I mean, it's very convoluted, and you have to follow the actual economics of it. But if that's the plan, that is a very good plan.
No, that's been the plan since day one. Like, I kind of seen this coming from the get-go because it's like, bro, this is exactly what we need, even though, we had to pull teeth with the Democrats, and we still are. But eventually,
but by fixing those problems, where people are jobless or where people can't afford things, we can come in and fill that gap and give people jobs, give people opportunities. Maybe you're not going to live in a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom mansion, but you'll be able to buy, a trailer. You can you can work your way up through it. There's a ladder being extended now to the lower income class, so that they may get into the middle class, so that they may eventually become wealthy. That is how people have gotten wealthy throughout history. It's not because they just fucking beat their way to the top and went from poor to a multi-billionaire. No, they've moved with the market. And if you give people a boat, they can cross an ocean. If you tell them to swim, they're going to die.
But all right, Mike. Here you go.
Do this. Obama certainly didn't. Now we're entering a collaboration era between the Treasury Department and the Fed. Scott Bessent and Kevin Warsh literally worked together under Stanley Druckenmiller. Their desks were side by side. This means we're heading for much lower interest rates. And if you lower the value of U.S. bonds and U.S. treasuries, then foreigners are going to dump those bonds.
Yep.
And that means those bonds will now come back home. And the United States will be sitting on that debt. I will own this debt, not China or Russia.
Exactly.
And we'll see what this means. This is a bombshell. I mean, this means that